But today we're doing status checks, right? I want to do status checks. I want to see kind of where you're at, what you're looking at for fourth quarter. And I really want to dig deep. This is definitely going to be more of an in-depth conversation that we're going to have. Because again, it's I don't want to call it even accountability at this point. It's just really a performance review on your guys' business and where you stand right now for fourth quarter. Okay, what do you guys have going on? What is it that you guys are trying to implement? Remember, we talked about in our last meeting to go out there and reach out to, the assisted living centers. Some of you guys raised your hand, say, look, I'll give it a shot. I'll go talk. Let me hear that dialogue. Let's see what they said, right? And let's see what the verbiage was. But in essence, today's going to be that day, guys, right? We're going right into like the holiday season. And we can easily get distracted during the holiday season. Trust me, we all do it. It's very common, but the reality is we need to stay here, right? We need to stay here. We need to continue to push the envelope and laying out our business platform for, to wrap up fourth quarter and go in and then also start prepping for first quarter 23, guys. Right? This is a good time to do it, right? Because guess what? Unfortunately, the market's not favoring our industry right now. It is a little more, challenging to get out there and start finding, the buyer pool, the listing pool. I just kind of did yesterday, kind of my side. I always day before business with me or our session, I always kind of just get a taste of what the current market looks like. And just do some research just because I want to bring out as much information as I can for you guys. But, bear in mind, the market, definitely the listing market itself has decreased 13.7%, guys, in our market, 13.7, right? For residential homes, get this, 24.7 for townhomes and condo homes is down. That's a big one. Okay. That's a big one. Pending sales, they decreased 14.3%. So
is that compared to this time last year?
Yeah. You're always basing it on year to date or year over year, basically. Residential homes, what did I say? Pending sales decreased by 14.3% for residential homes and 23% for townhomes. Okay, just some food for thought for you guys. Inventory decreased by 4.6, which is given. That doesn't really concern me because in essence, during this time, a lot of people, even if they had it on the market and didn't sell, or they're thinking of selling, they're kind of hesitant. Look, it's holiday. Do we really need to deal with people coming in our house during this time? And then to top it off, do we need to, have to move during the holiday season? That's your normal, perspective mindset for a seller. But remember, people still have to sell. There's people that have to sell, people getting transferred, people, having to put the home on the market. We're starting to see some phases, and I saw some emails already coming out from public or from, the current market agents that deal with foreclosures and short sales. Foreclosures are coming back. You're starting to come see some homes popping back up slowly but surely. So remember that as well. We had an instance last week where a lady actually contacted one of our agents and stated, look, I can't continue to pay on my home. I'm finding difficulty finding a job, which is very hard to understand, right? Because right now everybody is hiring. So there's a money issue there. There's a money issue there that it is a problem. But they're starting to come, they're starting to rise. Now, is that a concern for us? Not necessarily, but we need to know how to tackle that kind of stuff. So you need to have that system in place for your business. How to address potential people that come in with foreclosures. How to address people that sometimes need assistance in dealing with their banks and talking about forbearances again, or short sales, or a mitigation issue where you're like, look, can we put it on the market? Can we do buyer BPOs? All that stuff is going to start piling slowly but surely into 23 and 24, guys. Don't be discouraged about that, okay? We always hear this when we were young, right? Knowledge is power. It is true. You gotta have that in your mind now and understand what it's gonna take to negotiate those types of contracts, okay? So I'm just giving you a couple of tidbits, but in essence, today, what do we got going on for fourth quarter? What are you guys implementing? And what are you guys laying out for 2023? Joe, we'll start with you.
All right, so I called Bethesda Southgate just to start off. Their intake coordinator is supposed to be calling me back. I did that Monday. I haven't gotten a call back yet. So
Okay.
hopefully they'll call me. I haven't been able to speak to them yet.
Yeah, and give them a few days, and if you don't hear back, call them again, man, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
That's what I
with that.
figured. I just give them a call.
Yeah, persistence is everything, and they get tied up, they're busy just as we are, but it doesn't hurt to give them a quick shout out, and then the next time, if let's say they're out of office, ask if they have an email that you can reach out as well, so when you leave them a voicemail on their inbox, hey, I'm gonna follow up this voicemail with an email, just so we can start dialogue. Here's my thoughts. And then maybe that way you can really express your direction via email, and it's black and white in front of them so they can read what the purpose of your intent to call is. And once they read that, I'm sure they're going to engage and have some interest, man, because they're all about having opportunities to bring more residents in if they have the capacity to do so, right? Because some of them are packed to, 100% filled, but, you're not going to know until you try, right? What else, Joe? What else you got going on, bud?
So for fourth quarter, I just put out a magazine. So it's a 48-page magazine. It is, my copy's upstairs actually, so I can't put it in front of the screen, but it's pretty cool. It's called, it was through Reminder Media. So this was their packet that they gave me. Again, it's blurred out. You guys can't see that, but
That's all right. That's cool.
Good to be home, and it's a 48-page. It's got a lot of articles about fixing up your home, decorating ideas, things you can cook. It's branded to me, so it's 100% branded to me in Remax Gold, and it's got a couple of pull-out cards as well with recipes. So,
Kylie has a quick question, Joe. What was the name of the company again that you did that with?
Reminder Media.
Reminder Media.
It's under remindermedia.com.
Okay, cool. What
Really
is the
easy
cost
company.
of that, Joe?
These were $4.99 per magazine to kick out. The minimum is 50 magazines at a time.
Oh,
They
that's
kick
not
them
bad.
out they kick them out every other month. And you can do 1 run, 10 runs. I signed up for 20 months, but I can stop it at any time. So that'll be 10 magazines total.
Nice. I like that.
So I
Joe,
figured
let
that's,
me.
Yeah.
And one of the things I got to compliment you on, Joe, is your activity on social media has been very good, man. Very good. Like you're popping up on my feed, like I'm actually searching for you. That's what you want, guys. That's exactly what you want. You want to be able to consistently have that feed going. So kudos to you, man. You're doing an excellent job on your social media platforms. So that's great. Continue, man. Continue doing those videos. Continue just doing your traditional, Joe's Homes and just throw some personal stuff in there like you have been, man. It's pretty cool stuff, man. So I like the fact that your feed is popping up consistently, guys. That's good for you. Let me ask you this. What about 2023? What are you seeing, right now in the month of October? Where do you see your trending for closings for the end of the year? Do you have anything on the books? Do you have, what are you prospecting? How are you trying to get at least a few more deals underneath your belt before the end of the year closes out?
Well, that's what I'm doing with the magazine. I was hoping to get a referral or two with the magazine, as well as I hooked up with Homestead Financial already.
Good.
Greg and his team. So I have a card, a 9x5 or 9x6.5 card coming out. We just finalized that the other day. So that is coming out, co-branded, of course, to them and me. And it's tips for your home. And then there's a call to action on the front of it as well.
That's
so,
awesome.
Awesome. Hoping to get something out of that. That's going out to over 3,000 homes. It's about 3,050 homes down in South County and near my house. And that's going to run.
have you looked at the analytics behind that? In other words, if it's 3,000 homes, you know, have you run your numbers just to be realistic? What type of response rate to capture rate, right? And I'm just kind of throwing thin numbers in the air, but if you're reaching out 3,000 people, what's going to be a significant response for you? And I'm going to tell you right now, you get one call back, that's a success, man. You know what I'm saying? That is awesome because that's what you want. But for 3,000, I'd venture to say you should at least have some type of correspondence with at least half a dozen people or less. It's okay. But the reality is, if you're making a dent with one, that's all. Be very happy that it's a success, right? So that's cool. The other thing that I would suggest you to do also, see if they can send that postcard digital to you, so you can also put it on your social media platforms, all of them, right? So you can also touch on your social media people. You know, you have a great access to instantly reach, you know, however many hundreds of people you have on your platforms. So don't forget, always, when you do postcards, make sure they always give you the digital version so that you can also put that impression on social media.
I've got it actually, because I had to approve it. So I do have a copy of it.
There you go, buddy. Put that up there as soon as possible, man. You know, let's see what type of engagement you get out of it, right? So, you know, that's a good one. All right. So, Joe, last question, right? You know, we're wrapping up the year, so it's a good thing to put in your mind. What type of business are you looking at trying to capture in 23, right? What are what are you gonna really try to, whether adding another leg to your business, like the assisted living side, maybe some certification. I know Sean, immediately when we started talking about assisted living or senior living, he went immediately and ordered the certification, which Sean will touch base about that when we get to you. But those are the kind of things you might want to consider. But what is it that you're thinking of either adding or focusing on to see where your platform is going to be for 23?
So I've had 3 different family, not family, but friends, couples, older folks that have said, actually one couple is considering moving out of their home right now. So
good.
That is probably the genre. Up to this point, it's been mostly first-time home buyers that I've been able to talk to and capture. So I'm still working with those. I have 4 investors now that I've been talking to on a regular basis. Haven't been able to do much with them, but I've been talking to them on a regular basis about what they need. And really, mostly, I think going for this 4th quarter anyway, going after folks that are a little bit on the older side. So 60, 70, 80 who are considering possibly going into assisted living. We've already had 2 people move out of this neighborhood doing that. So
that's awesome, man.
As far as designations go, I wanted to sign up for the green designation a couple of months ago. And because things got a little hectic, I wasn't able to. But now going into November, I'll be able to. So that's a designation I want next.
What was, and I'm sorry, but what was that designation again, Joe?
Green, GREEN.
Green.
So that's sustainability. And
like the lead stuff they got out there. Gotcha.
Right.
Cool. That's actually a great market because a lot of developers now are heading in that space to build so they can cover the cost of the material. So that way they can say, look, the reason why the house costs more money, other than the pass-through cost for material, they're adding this energy efficiency stuff in there. So which is really cool. Windows, siding, shit like that. So it's pretty cool. All right, Joe, thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother.
I kind of thought that went with my genre because of my Joe's hacks and all of that.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits my whole niche. So.
Oh, totally, man. Totally. One of the things that especially with that kind of, certification, it makes a huge difference, man, because we get a lot of conscious buyers now and sellers that, that either have that, and it's good to have that type of awareness. All right, Larry, thanks, Joe. Larry, you're on deck, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I went this past week and I just showed up over at Southview Assisted Living. And I talked to a Jackie Jacobson, who was the manager of that particular unit. They apparently they're a chain. And they go through the whole process from assisted living to skilled nursing, and then on the other side is just the apartments for older people. And I had already referred a number of people. My mother was in that home when she was alive.
Okay.
And then also had referred another person who, since maybe there's not a good spot to be in if you live in that.
Oh, gosh.
But they passed away too, and one other person. So she would not let me put anything out there, but we kind of have just a verbal agreement, and I don't know how well that's going to work. As far as she run into people that are needing to sell, she'll call or have them call,
Right.
or have their children call,
Yeah.
which is usually the case. And also I'll continue to shoot people over there because I think they did a good job with my mom too.
Yeah. And one of the suggestions to consider with that, Larry, also is, not all these assisted living centers have the same protocol either, right? So sometimes, okay, I can set up a relationship where maybe it's a verbal agreement, like you said, but hey, that's just one of the many out there that you should be able to reach out to and talk to, right? And
Yeah,
try to set up, different relationships with certain entities.
I was a little disappointed in that because I thought, well, you can be blowing smoke up my butt for all I know.
Yeah.
And
But you never know, man. Like I said,
right,
sometimes,
exactly.
They'll be like, yeah, man, let me call, here, take this guy's, let me give
Yeah,
you this.
they took my cards and everything and some information. So we'll see.
That's a good start. No, that's a good start. But listen, don't settle on just one, guys. Go out there, reach out to a couple more. I'm
Okay.
telling you, it's just like prospecting. Reach out to one that fits your needs. And I
Mhm.
guarantee you, it's a numbers game. One of these, they're gonna be like, hey, man, I'm telling you, because I got the information from my guy, Mike from Friendship Village, who oversees their whole Iowa region and other regions. They love these types of relationships. So I don't think he's blowing smoke up my rear when he said that, right? He loves these relationships because
Okay.
they're doable, and not a lot of people are thinking outside the box. So he was very warming, with the dialogue as far as it works. Though you'll find people that really want to have that opportunity to really network like that.
Well, Jackie was very cordial and everything, and spent time with me.
Awesome.
I mean, it wasn't a, well, I'll take your card and get the hell out. We spent some time together, so that was
And,
good.
and you know what? The other way on how to approach those types of calls too is you want to go in there and you want to simply say, hey, look, I would like to understand your process. I'd like to understand how you guys, vet out people, because we in our industry, we run into a lot of scenarios where people might need, these types of services. And I want to be able to better, understand so that I can also relay that information as you guys being my preferred partner, if you will, help me understand that. Run me through the process. What is it that it takes? Because then now you're engaging in what they know best, right? That's what they do for a living. And it's going to educate you as well, what those processes are. And then it's also going to show that you really care about how they want, how they look at their program with their companies. So remember, these people have an open door for anybody that's interested in understanding about how they do business in their facilities.
Okay.
So don't forget that, right?
Okay.
What are you looking at, Larry, for your numbers at the end of this year, and then looking at 2023?
I've only got one active person working, and it's through a 1031 exchange that on the other side, it's a commercial property. It hasn't closed. I don't have that. Commercial broker does, but we're going to be looking at something actually out toward the Washington office, probably about $750,000.
Nice.
But I've got to wait for that to close, obviously.
Sure.
It's going to be a 1031 exchange, and I've gotten them all the information as far as the QIs and everything that needs to be done to set up to successfully get a 1031 going. I'm kind of and I'm almost embarrassed to say this. I've been looking at business plan for next year and kind of how we're going to end up this year, and I had to go back, and I'm kind of struggling with what's my why.
Yeah.
We kind of went over that the other day on this, and it really got me thinking. I mean, the spot I'm in. I'm going to be 70 soon. have been cutting back, been spending time with the grandkids, blah, 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 blah. And that edge that creates that passion, I got to find that back again. And I'm quite frankly, I'm having a hard time with it.
Sure. Yeah. And you know what, Larry, sometimes in reality, it's consistency. And when I say consistency, I mean, it's consistency. Also, consistency can be good and bad. Consistency is for example, in your position right now, where you're not seeing that why, or you're not really truly feeling that passion of what what you really enjoy doing. And in reality, this is very important to be very transparent on these calls, because this is why I'd rather, let's discuss it. Let's figure out what those key indicators are, because this is the right time to do so, right?
Right.
And
exactly.
Quite frankly, Larry, I think the engagement of you, and here's what I see, and I think it's not just you. I think it's a lot of people that have been in the industry for a number of years and having to now adjust the way and how they do business. And sometimes the technology component really becomes a barrier, and it takes the steam out of you, right? Because you're like, man, now I got to learn how to do this kind of stuff, and I got to learn now this. Before, a lot of business was done on a handshake and good friend and everything, and it's hard, right? It is hard. So it kind of drives that environment internally to be like, damn, it's a lot, and it's just like I'm going back to college here of real estate and figuring out, new ways to derive business. And but I will say this, Larry, you've been in the industry for many years. You've seen the markets trend up and down. You've seen technology come in over the years. This is nothing new. Right. But I will say this, Larry, I think me in hearing your thoughts, you really need to start embedding yourself in something that's going to give you excitement. In this case, is maybe learning the technology, maybe going out to these senior citizens. When you start seeing that there's engagement that's reciprocal, that, hey, I really appreciate you, Larry. We're in the business of helping people. We're not in this. Yeah, the money's great, but we're in this because we really enjoy doing what we do. And that's really assisting our clients to be in a better position in their lives, because it is, they're selling homes and they're buying homes, the biggest investments in your life. And it's so gratifying that when you get them to the table and you see smiles on their faces and they're like, man, this is great. Those are the cool things about our business, and never lose sight of that, Larry, because you're doing a great thing that really helps many, many people. Now, with that being said, also the organic environment that unfortunately this business develops as that roller coaster effect, right? You can be on a high with 3-4 contracts and you're busy, you're shaking, you're moving. It adds fire underneath you, because now you're like, hey man, I'm shaking and making here. But when you hit that bottom, it's kind of like that adrenaline rush when you're an athlete. You're done with your sport that you train so hard for, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm done. Now what?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And it's just,
now what? And why I say the original statement earlier, Larry, is you have to work on developing the sources now that can help you to systemize your business and also learn the technology behind it. Now, you don't have to be an expert, Larry, you don't, but you just have to learn how to understand it so that you can go out and find people within our staff, within our agency, to help maybe put some plugs in to make it a little more understanding for you, right? Don't forget, you guys have support here. You guys have plenty of support. We got a wonderful staff, a great tenured staff, and also a young staff that understands what's going on with technology, right? But as a business owner, you have to go out and get that knowledge. You have to go out and make that call, that phone call, if you will, to say, hey man, look, I don't get this whole social media, the analytics and all this. But what I do know is I love what I do, but I need my drive back. So I know that if I'm getting phone calls from people asking me about what I do and what can I help them with, that's going to light that fire underneath you again, because now you feel like, okay, I know I got people that know that I do what I do and I do it good. and they're wanting me to assist them, and it's gonna really re-engage you back. But the reality is, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and we've heard this term before, guys, right? It's the definition of what? Insanity. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's basically insane. You're doing it's a definition of insanity, guys. You have to be able to break that mode, Larry. And my challenge to you in the next couple of weeks is really sit down and truly write your whys down on paper. Why do I really still do this? Right?
That's what I've been doing.
You know, why do I really still do this? And then, right, say, okay, I'm doing this because, you know, for these reasons. Now, how do I get my whys to be more superior than the day-to-day, you know, transition of business each and every day, and getting me to that next level where I'm really now doing business in the way that the industry demands it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Because the industry demands us to understand technology. The industry demands us to understand our millennials, our Generation X's, our baby boomers. You know, the industry demands us to really know what the current market trends are looking like. So it demands that out of you, man. Like, because if you don't pay attention to those aspects, you're going to be in that same cycle, right? I got 2 deals. Now I have nothing. I got 4. Then I have nothing.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that take the sail right underneath you, right? Because when you hit that bottom of that roller coaster, you're like, well, now what? Man, it sucks. Like, I don't got nothing because you got so hyped with these contracts and you didn't have a system to maintain that so you can continue to keep drawing and brewing business, right?
Right.
Mary, you had your hand up. What was your,
Yeah.
what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that I heard a speaker talk one time, Larry, that he said what most people don't realize is that there's no end to the number of redos you have in your life. Every day you can have a restart, a reset, and a redo. It's up to us. It's our mindset that when you haven't successfully done something that you can't, now you're stuck, you can't move forward. But if you put your mindset at the fact that today is a new day, that you can change yourself and start, have a new beginning every day if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that Marty Johnson used to say Happy New Year every day.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and here,
Take the hell out.
and Larry, and I also want to propose one thing.
Sure.
Go online. There's going to be a summit meeting here in November. Kristen's off. What is it? November 7th. Jared James, and there's another great coach coming into town. It's free for us as agents. Remax International. It just came out.
Yes,
I am challenging you, Larry, to go to this thing. We will all be there. If you guys are serious, and you, like, for you, Larry, this would be perfect for you to see what other individuals that are like-minded in our industry are doing to better their business. Because you don't have to be young to be successful in this business.
Right.
You don't have to be old to be successful in this business. You just need to know how to be in this business.
Right.
Okay?
And Jose, you made a great point about the staff. They're really well versed in the art of assisting with stuff when you need some help getting into whatever it is you're trying, the technology that you're trying to get into. We can set up some one-on-ones or whatever you need, Larry.
Okay. I appreciate it. I really do. Because
Yeah, Larry, you just got to reach out, but especially when you get into these types of cycles where you're like, man, I don't know. You have to reach out. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you can't just sit and try to say, man, I got to figure this out on my own. No, absolutely not. You have a team of support behind you. And when I say a team, your fellow colleagues, your staff, you know, because when I say that they're your staff guys, you know, utilize them, right? Utilize them.
Okay.
So, but I appreciate your honesty, man. I love that about you, Larry. You're a straight shooter, man. And it helps to understand where you're at to be able to, you know, work through that. Okay. Thank you, bud.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Sean, you're on deck.
All right, let me unmute there. Good morning. Thank you, Larry, for that. Because you're not the only one struggling. There are days that I'm just like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? So, you know, it's that, I think it's that newbie struggle for me, you know, it's like, is this really the career choice that I was meant to do? And then somebody will call and then the deal starts going, then you get those butterflies again, and you're like, okay, this is it. But there's still those days when I'm like getting out of bed and like doing the thing. It's sometimes it's a struggle. So call me if you need to. We'll talk through it, and maybe we can help each other out with that. So.
Man, Sean, I gotta tell you, man, I love you, man. I really do love you, man, because you know what, dude? You've always been true to yourself and true to everyone, and that's what makes you really who you are as a human being, man. You're a great. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps because it's very good to hear that in our culture, in our agency, people truly care about one another, man. You know, and we all run through those same scenarios, as Sean just mentioned, you know. But I will tell you one thing, and one thing for sure, guys. There is no successful CEO or no successful independent business owner that's grew to a magnitude of a great business that has not been through what we've been through. You know what I'm saying? So we've all been through there. We all see it. Even those high-powered CEOs that, you know, when they were coming up, man, we're all confronted with the same challenges. We are business owners, right? And I always tell you guys, if we don't wake up that morning ready to do what we need to do to make this system, you know, to continue to move the ball forward, nothing's going to be done. Nothing's going to be changed, because guess what? We wear all these different hats, right? And when it comes to that, we have to be our own motivator. We have to be our own, you know, account payable, account receivable. We have to do it all. But the reality is, if you have a system in place so that, you know, man, I got tomorrow, you know, but if you would do a night before and do a quick check thing, hey man, I'm going to focus on this, and this tomorrow. You wake up and feeling the way you may be feeling, you wake up, you know, you got a task list to get done. You know what I'm saying? But we'll keep grinding into that. But Sean, I want to hear you, man. I want to know where you're at, where you're holding for 2023 or 2022 for the end of the year. What do you got going on? You know, let's go through this dialogue that we've been with the other two colleagues we got.
Okay, great. So I did finish my SRES course. So I'm accredited now as a senior real estate SRES. I can remember what that all stands for. And if anybody's looking for it, I believe they're on that course for October. They're offering a discount. They didn't offer when I bought it last month, but they're offering a discount this month, I think, on that course. I think in our NAR. So I did get that finished. I did not. Was not able to contact any assisted living places, but in a weird twist of fate, Ryan was actually researching assisted livings for a friend last year and has all these pamphlets that he's given me that I'm kind of going through and gonna contact some of the ones that he's already talked to that he really loved the relationship that he had with when they would call him things. So I've got that kind of, that's my next week project. I've already sent out or done some pop buys, but I'm going to do some more pop buys tomorrow. I made this little guy, and I'm
I love it.
Putting it with moms and dropping it off on people's front door.
I want one. You need to put one of those in the office, Sean, up there.
Okay.
Yeah, you do, bud. Right on park. Exactly. Yeah. You got to put that at park, man.
Okay.
Frame it.
Because I've got Artie saying, "Mum's the word. Don't keep my dad a secret. He's here for all your friends, for you and all your friends and their real estate needs." So,
I love it.
My office assistant's helping out. So
I love it, man. I love it.
As far as business for the rest of the year, I've got a buyer that I'm still working with, and I just got a text this morning from a buyer that I've worked with her selling a property, but now she's interested in buying some more property in St. Louis. So she just contacted me this morning. I'm doing a video walkthrough of a house this afternoon for her. And then I have 2 listings coming hopefully in November. Well, I know one definitely will come in November, and hopefully the other will come in November, so we can get those both closed out by the end of the year. As far as 2023 goes, I really want to focus on this SRES certification, and then also get my other certifications for buyer's agent and listing agent. I have enough transactions to be able to get both those certifications.
Love
I'm
it.
just gonna take the classes. That way I'll be really designated, I guess.
Yeah,
And,
man.
and really focus on the SRES for 2023 and kind of get my team together and get that ball rolling.
Yeah, I love it. But one quick certification is very simple to get, and it actually makes sense. ePro, your ePro certification, look that up. Okay, it just basically stands out that you understand the technology side of things. And it's very easy. It's not complicated. But Sean, what I would suggest, because now that you have your CREC certification, if I'm pronouncing the acronym correctly, there's so many acronyms. Make sure you throw that on social media ASAP. ASAP, man.
Yeah.
You know, go out there, be like, hey, I have exciting news. You know, I just got my CRSC certification. You know, please, everyone, let me explain to you guys what that means and entails for those of you in the future that might need, you know, some guidance. And you give a little nice description of it. Maybe you put a photo of, you know, assisted living campaign, something, you know, minimal. And please, I mean, I'm sure any one of us, if you need help with that, staff can help you with putting like a nice little caption, picture or whatnot. But I would highly recommend to start pushing that, man. You never know.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you know, push that as fast as you can. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, appreciate you, Sean. Okay, Jose Ponce, that's me. Julia. I always want to say Buglia, and I don't want to. I hope I sometimes feel like she gets pissed there. I'm like, it rolls out of my mouth, man. If you guys all seen that movie.
I'm used to it, so it's fine.
Julia.
Okay, she's showing her age. She grew up with it.
Yeah, I
Hey
did.
man, that was The Wedding Singer was one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm sorry, I just can't. Yeah, I never turn it off. If I see it pop up on one of those AMC channels, I'm like, I'm watching it. I almost know some lines out of it, which is scary, you know. But Julia, please tell us everything we've been discussing, and I can relate everything again. But you know, you pretty much heard. What are you looking like for the end of the year? You know, where's your 2023, you know, direction looking like? You know, did you get a chance to maybe get out there and talk to some assisted living centers, or kind of give us, and another thing, kudos to you as well, Julia, with your social media platforms. You're doing an awesome job. I mean, you're also popping up on my thread constantly, like constantly. And I love the mixture. The really cool one I got to compliment you on, because it takes courage, because a lot of people, their vulnerability and their confidence level drops, but she put a video out there when she was cleaning her stove, you know, and it's like, you know, it's cool to see like the real Julia, right? Like people want to see the real you. And it was fun. It was cute, but funny. But yes, you're like, oh man, she's a human being. I can relate, you know, a lot of people can relate to that. Kudos to that, because again, it takes a lot of confidence. You know, she's over there, you know, getting in there, cleaning and, hey, you know, doing all this, but not a lot of people would have the courage to do that. And that is awesome. So congrats, Julia.
Thank you. I'm trying to stop caring so much about the videos and just doing it. So it's just, you just kind of got to let go of that fear and just do it. I mean, if you look at TikTok nowadays, people are posting all kinds of weird stuff. So the stuff that you post is probably not that bad or weird compared to what's already out there.
Exactly. I mean, if you really look at it like that, I've seen some weird, and I'm going to cuss, so I apologize. There's some weird shit out there, like weird shit, right?
Exactly.
Like, you're like, how did this not get taken down, you know?
And why are
So,
they showing it?
Yeah. Right. You know, why is it popping up on my thread? But go ahead, Julia, just because I want to make sure we get to everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. So yeah, just for the rest of the year, I actually have a listing coming up hopefully next week or the week after. And I've been working with thank you. I've been working with a buyer. It's just kind of slow going. He's got a VA loan and it's like his price range is up to 100,000. So it's been taking some time to find him something, but we're still working on it. And then for the rest of the year, let's see, I plan on working on mailing out like postcards to my sphere and maybe some, other leads that I have. They're postcards that have pumpkin pie recipes, so I want to get that out by the end of this month in time for Thanksgiving. Let's see, also just focusing more on my sphere, and also I've been working on farming a little bit at a neighborhood in Crestwood, so just trying to get more with that.
And guys, she brought up a very valid point. For you guys that do work in the South County, Central South County area, Crestwood, Maplewood, Rock Hill, Webster, great markets. They're holding pretty strong, even though, values they're saying they're shifting downward. Those are strong markets right now too. So that's a good area to pick from, Julia.
Yeah.
Also a suggestion, and I say it to all of you guys, but mainly for your postcards, Julia, same thing I said to Sean. Try to get that, or to Joe, I'm sorry, try to get the digital copy of it so you can put that on your social media platforms, right? Since you're getting so much visibility and your rhythm on your analytical component, you're getting a lot of threads, as I would call it. Put it out there, right? Put it out there,
Okay.
Yeah, definitely do so. So 2023, what are you thinking? Where are you seeing yourself as far as even adding a leg to your business, or are you focusing? And you brought one thing good. This is also a time, guys, to send out some holiday cards. Stay traditional. People love having holiday cards come in, and guess what? They like putting them on their mantles and all that, especially for your past clients. Look, I don't care if you sold one house last year. Take the time, send a nice little holiday card to that one client and say, thank you very much. Happy holidays. Wish you and your family and yours a best holiday season ever. And if you handwrite it, people really hold on to that. They're not going to throw that card away. They won't. Because if you're the average person, when you get a nice holiday card, it's cool. You get to display it there. It's the impression that you make that you're thinking of them. Liz Stemley is notorious for that. And I'm telling you, she sits there and does 200, 300 cards, handwritten cards every single year. And I'm telling you, it is such a great thing to do. So good job on that, Julia. And that's something I throw out to everybody that I recommend you guys doing, okay? Sorry to interrupt, Julia. What else you got?
That's okay. Yeah, that's part of my plan for next year, is to make sure that I'm, getting holiday cards out on time to everyone. That was something I wanted to start doing this year, but it just got away from me. But next year, focusing more on listings, just, making more phone calls to for sale by owners and expired listings, and making that more of a consistency in my schedule.
Good call, Julia. You're on the right path. Keep it going, lady. Keep it going, especially when you're calling for sale by owners and expireds. That's also another thing that you guys all should do and be doing, because you're starting to see a lot more of them. Remember, when people start seeing those prices drop down and they're not getting any actions and those listings expire, those sellers have already been through the process. They still want to sell, but they're figuring like, what's going on? Maybe it's the agent, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You could be that person to answer all those questions for them, okay? Don't forget about that. So Julia's bringing up some great points here, guys. Okay. Julia, thank you. I had one thing I was going to add to your dialogue, and it'll come back. If I come back, I'll drop it. Kristen Kaufman, what's up, Miss Kristen?
Hey guys, let me get my notes here. I am so glad that you brought up this assisted living thing again. And here's why. I had assisted living myself personally in my home for off and on for 2 years. And if you wouldn't have brought this up again, I wouldn't have even thought to reach out to them. I know the owner really well. So this is a scenario where, like for me, I had my hips replaced, and Nick and I were seriously talking about selling our house. So I'm so glad you brought this up. I think this could be something that could work for me.
I highly recommend it, Kristen. It's an untouched market. Not that many people out there trying to gain leverage there. So I highly recommend it. How are you looking for the end of your year here, and what are you looking at to do for 2023 for your business plan? I know you're adding now the assisted living, which is awesome. What else you see out there in your horizon?
So I started working with an old buyer of mine in March of this year. And we finally, Monday of this week, closed on his property. It was actually 4 properties. So
Okay.
that was the longest sales cycle I've ever had in any career in my entire life. It is done. I've got a current listing right now. It's a 2-family. It's on South Grand. And we listed completely rehab. We listed it for 240. I thought it was a little high, but it was an okay number. 28 days on market right now. A week ago today, we price dropped it from 240 to 199. And I'm still not getting traction. 14 showings, no offer. Well, we did have 1 offer.
It's
So
that time of the market. Yeah, it's definitely that time of the market where it's shifting and you're gonna start seeing a lot of more price drops out there, Kristen. Don't be discouraged though. You know, keep plugging away on that.
Well, I actually he's in town from New York today, so I'm going to go meet with him at 1 today to kind of strategize. He really needs to, from a cash flow perspective, he needs to move this off his books this year.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, bedrooms.
One thing. Go ahead, Larry. What were you saying?
How many bedrooms is that? I might have something.
So 2-family, one side has 3 bedrooms, the other side's 2. So 3 and 2, 1 bath.
And it's
What's the price point?
It's at 199 right now. It's slick. It's a really nice building.
Where Kristen, Kylie's asking where the location is at, because she also is dealing with an investor that's looking to buy multifamily as well.
It's right by Merb's Candy, right there,
Oh.
Okay.
like on that block.
Hey, Kristen, if you don't mind, why don't you just in our chat here, just put the address and all that in there, and that way these guys can look it up. Can
Sure.
you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you do that? And I gotta attest to something on Kristen's behalf, because, you know, Kristen's been with our organizations for a number of years. And prior to having her medical stuff, like the stuff that she was doing with the hip replacements and all that other stuff, Kristen was a very high producing agent, kick ass. She was constantly out there. But when talking about the will and finding your why, Larry, Kristen's a good testament to that, because basically after, you know, her rehab and all that, she's come back to the business, but she basically picked up where she left off, you know what I mean? And she pushed and grinded and did things, and she's got the wheels turning again. So, you know, that can also show you, Larry, that it is doable, man. It's just, you know, you gotta get out there. So Kristen, kudos to you, because it is not an easy thing to just jump right back and get going again. So congrats.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got a pop by thing for Halloween. It's related to dogs and dog biscuits that are Halloween oriented. 20.
Look, Sean's got a smile on his face.
And I've got 3 of them. I'm right there with you, Sean.
Yeah.
2023. I think I'm going to partner with Kevin Hall, USA Mortgage, on
Love
some
it.
demand gen things. He's in
I
our
love
office, and we seem to work pretty well together. And he's open to spending some money with me too.
There you go. And listen, you couldn't have picked a better organization. I mean, USA Mortgage is great too. And what I like about Kevin Hall is that he's literally at Park. He's there and he's willing to help. I mean, he was opening doors for PA. He's out there. So he has that drive to be successful. So guys, take advantage of that too. Find the right partner that's really wanting to make your business just as successful as his business, guys. So that's awesome. Okay. Good. All right, Kristen. Well, great. What else you got?
One other thing that's actually pretty cool that I've got is, so my buyer on Monday is an executive at Anheuser-Busch, which is, so of course, AB is my neighbor right here in Benton Park.
Yeah.
So he has agreed, his name's Matt, Lynn actually knows him as well. Matt Kuhn has agreed to take my business cards in to Anheuser-Busch's HR department.
Oh shit.
And schedule a meeting for me to go out there.
Wow. Hey, that's big, Kristen. Let us know if you need any help preparing your presentation or anything like that, Kristen, okay? Our staff would love to be engaged in that to help you have the proper, you know, representation when you get there. You know what I mean? So you just please reach out to any one of us. Jamie would be great. Lexi would be great. You know, we have great new staff that are really aggressive and knowing how to put stuff together. So utilize that opportunity and your services, right? They're your staff. So that's awesome. That is so
I
awesome.
think it could be really, really cool. And also, I'm the right person for it. I mean,
Oh yeah. I mean, I call you the queen of Benton Park already.
right. I mean,
You
I'm the
should use that as your tagline. Kristen Kaufman, the queen of Benton Park.
There we go. Next time I get business cards, I'll consider that. So that's all I've got for right now. I really appreciate this call though, because I was kind of in the weeds and minutia on a couple of listings and this closing, and I needed this to get my head above water again and like be able to be excited.
Yeah, man, this is why I always tell people it helps, bringing everybody together, because we're hearing different environments of not only thought, but business positions. And it helps you guys to kind of reignite where you need to be, or maybe adjust, pivot, punt, whatever. But no, thank you, Kristen, for that transparency. We really appreciate that. All right. Let's go with Kylie. I like leaving Kate last because she's also kind of like our senior agent, just like a Larry and a Kristen. So.
I'll talk first.
Oh, well, yeah, you first.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead. That way you're not pressured.
No, I'm good.
Okay. You're next, Kylie.
Okay, well, I've got some mailers going out for buying versus renting to send out to some renters going to apartment complexes in St. Charles. And after the call with Greg yesterday, he was talking about how he has access to those addresses. So I'm probably gonna work with him and target a few more apartment complexes. Me being a renter myself, I need to educate myself on, obviously you want to own and all that stuff. So I want to work on that. And then also from Greg's call, just being more like genuine with yourself. So I've been like thinking like, okay, so maybe I like my fashion stuff. I like this. So be more like about myself and then incorporate my business into that. And then also like Larry was saying, like he's got all the years of experience, and then a stop. I'm kind of like the opposite. I have all the technology and all the ideas, but it's like I don't have the experience. So how do I get, like, if this caption sounds smart enough? Do I sound trustworthy enough? Like I'm starting to like question myself. So I guess just better educate myself.
Yeah, and you know what? To your point, you bring up a great point, because as a new agent, never forget though, guys, that you guys work under the umbrella of an agency that's been around for 20 years, right? Number one, and you've had agents been in this business for longer than 40 years, 30 years. I think Liz, 20 something years. So when you go out there and you present yourself as a new agent, sometimes you don't have to talk about me. You should say we, our organization, our team. It eliminates a lot of the concerns of, well, she's young, she just started. No, it immediately gauges our organization has over 20 plus years or 30 plus years of real estate experience. Our team, does this, our team does this. Always use plural. That's something that I taught my brother too, because when he came into the business, he would say, hey, I just closed this deal, or I just did this, or my client, or this. I always say, look, man, you want to speak in plural because it makes you look like you're bigger than a one individual unit, right? Go out there, be confident, hey, our team, right? Our team does this. And if they ever question, oh, well, what do you mean? How much experience do you have? Well, our team has 25 years of experience. And they say, really? How old are you? Well, that's because in my organization, I work under the umbrella, and my team, or our team, and then you say Jose, you can even say Kay, you can even say whoever. Because at the end of the day, you're basing it on true numbers. Experience comes from the agency in its entirety, right? So remember that, right? Always talk about we, our, us, not me, and I only have a year of experience. No, don't discredit yourself, because you're in this agency for a reason.
There's no I in team, right?
No.
And it's also
But there's I in ice cream.
I like saying the right things. Like when I'm writing something out, it's like, is this right? Like, where am I getting my information like accurate? Yeah. Like, so the we part is good too. It's just also like, I can make all these videos and I'm all excited, but then it's like, oh, does that caption make sense? Like,
yeah.
So,
no, and you're also very, very critiquish to the extreme with yourself. But you got to understand, you have a marketing degree, right? You literally have a marketing degree. And that also makes you very you know, what do you call it? Very hard on yourself. I'll say that again, because you wanted to be perfect. But in this industry, you don't have to be perfect. And you going out there and engaging with people on social media, it should not just be you anymore. It should be us, our team, right? Because that's what's going to put it. So look, Tommy Edmonds' wife just got signed on by Compass Real Estate. I hate to even say it, but it is what it is. But she's zero experience in real estate, but she's using, which one of the smart things that she's doing is she's really backing the experience by the lady she's going to work under. So it's saying that, you know, our experience, all this, look up Tommy Edmond and look up his wife and you can see her announcement. You know, with them, it's going to be hard. I don't see her success going that well because she travels with the team a lot. So, you know, it's kind of like a do something while we're in season, you know, or out of season. So, but anyway, but it's a good thing on how she presented herself, right? But, okay, so business, do we address that already? You're already in the postcards, all that?
Yeah.
2023, how do you see yourself? I know you're going to be giving up some soccer, your soccer role. So that's going to free up a lot of more of your time, and you're really already embedding yourself in the real estate 100%.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing
Taking
because
on a
this,
little more time.
yeah, because this market's going to demand you to be more full-time because of the current market conditions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So cool with that. Okay. Last but not least, Miss Kate Roberts.
I have nothing, so for you guys. no.
Oh, great. Here, I'm lining you up like the headliner over here, you know?
No, fortunately, I have a couple closings lined up for the next couple of weeks, so, you know, we're just trying to keep all those pieces together. But the big thing, you know, there's a couple of people that we're hoping to get, you know, still before the end of the year, but, you know, I'm already working on some people that are ready to do things right after the first of the year. So, you know, some listings that are trying to get their ducks in a row and all that kind of stuff. So, but Sean and I have still been doing our calls together, our accountability things, and that has helped a
I
lot.
love that, guys. Thank you.
He's doing a lot better than I am. So, you know, I just want to say that, but, you know, it helps because, you know, it's like neither one of us want to disappoint the other. So, you know, we get our stuff together, and then for a while we were 2 weeks, and then we went back to a week because it was too long of a time to not kick each other in the butt. So,
Yeah.
you know, so that kind of stuff, I mean, has really helped a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have a great, I mean, he has great ideas, and, you know, sometimes I come up with something that might be helpful to him. So, you know, it's a great rapport where, you know, we can help each other out. So, so that's been good. And then Brent, for next year, Brent was saying something too about concentrating like on your top 25 referral sources. And that's
Mhm.
something that I really want to spend a lot of time doing because, you know, I have a lot of great people that have referred people to me, but I want them to continue to do that.
Mhm.
I want to continue building on that. So that's one of the things. And I have, you know, my calendar is going out at the end of the year that I always put in front of people. I always put a little note in there just about, you know, kind of like, just to kind of incorporate what's happening with life in the market and things like that. So, and I definitely want to get the senior designation. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I highly
that's
recommend it.
You know, because it seems like, especially this year too, I've had a lot of clients that have had, basically, they've had, you know, it's kids, it's siblings selling the parents' home, and, you know, so, I mean, there's a lot of things I think, you know, I need to learn to bring more value to that
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's my motion.
Awesome, Kate. I love it. I know you have to go. You got stuff going on.
Yeah, I
I
gotta go.
appreciate your time. Lastly, guys, lastly, okay. One recommendation that I will say, right? Get out there and just meet people. Don't forget that human interaction. Okay, don't be afraid to put your hand out and shake somebody's hand. I know people still maybe be concerned about COVID, but get out there and re-engage, guys. This is what we do best.
Well,
Re-engage.
some of this stuff too, I mean, you know, I was gonna talk to Sean a little bit more about it too, but you know, when I was in the wireless industry, we used to team up when we did cold calling. We used to team up with other people because one, it was boring to do it by yourself. You had the motivator, you had people working together, but you know, maybe we team up on some of these things. I mean, I don't mind sharing, you know, I don't mind sharing commission with somebody that
Love
I
it.
know is gonna be, you know, that we can work together to get the job done.
And you know what
So-
that's called? It's called collaboration, right? It's called collaboration. You don't have to be a team. You don't have to be a partner. but you sure can collaborate, right?
Right.
Hey, Sean, you know what? I love it. I have a family here that fits the criteria that I might need your assistance with. Maybe they're dog love. I'm just throwing that as an example. They're dog lovers and whatever. But that's called collaboration. Utilize that. Take advantage of it. I think we really have a strong culture here that we could team and work together collectively, and everybody could be, using that and taking advantage of everybody's, experience, knowledge, and understanding of the, what's going on. And lastly, don't forget what she just brought up earlier before she started. She is still doing her accountability calls with Sean and vice versa. Guys, if you guys want to get out there, Larry, Kristen, Joe, Kylie, man, just get on the phone and call somebody, man, say, look, can we hold each other accountable? I think you and I can relate, whatever, but do it because it is working. I mean, we have a true testament right here in front of us. It's working. It's working. Nothing that we're telling you here is just to be smoke and mirrors. These are activities that you can do to keep you going, engaged, motivated. Okay? Now look, I know you guys got a busy week, but I want to leave you guys with one last thing. I said that earlier, but you can go ahead out. It's just a formality for me, but kill this week. Make it your week. Do what you got to do. But the next business with Jose or training, doing business your way, okay? The next session, okay? We're going to break down numbers, all right? We're going to break down numbers, and we're going to show you guys what your numbers look like, okay, for 2022. And we're going to also show you guys how do you increase your business by 10%, even though the market's transitioning the way it is. But the only way that's going to work if you stick to the plan. Okay? You guys good with that? Awesome. All right, guys. Miss Lynn, I'd like for you to add on your contracts with Lynn on your next session, how to fill out the proper special agreements, because I want people to re-engage FHA loans and VA loans because that's coming right around the corner.